Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber show. It was a rough game. We're going to go over all of that. My name is Scrubber.
Yeah, man. I'm still recuperating. We got a lot to talk about. So, yeah, stick around, folks. We got a good show.
Welcome back, everybody. We got a great show for you today. We're going to cover some fantasy. We're going to cover we're definitely going to go over the game a little bit, look at some of the fundamentals involved in the game and try and bring those things together. And then we'll do our predictions and maybe a couple other special things today. So we'll see.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see what Coach has to say. Even a little scattering report on the Falcons.
Yeah.
So
let's do
all that. But for now, let's talk about some fantasy football, man.
Yeah. At least if your team can't win in reality, you can win in fantasy football.
Your fake team can win. And actually, you won.
I did.
You're up in second place. I dropped the third. I took my first loss of the year.
That was a tough one, yo. I watched it.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, though. Both of us, we got our points. We're scoring a lot of points, so it makes sense. We're up there.
My people are good. Overachieving.
Yeah, and that'll happen. Thank goodness. You need it sometimes. Or you know what? I've been getting by in one of my one leagues. I got my first 2 weeks. I did well because of Cooper Kupp. He went nuts. That's all you need. It happens sometimes. I got blasted in my main league by that Josh Allen. Thank you, Washington football team. If that guy had only scored 30 points, which is not a bad total for a quarterback, no, he put up 45. Yeah. And I got crushed. So that happened. And it goes against you, but you need them sometimes. You need that one guy, a Justin Jefferson or DK Metcalf, just to go off, give you 38 points. A lot of times that's enough to give you a win. So once again, though, look, you're in second, I'm in third, but the same thing repeats as last time we talked. Is we're both going to have to look tonight at the waiver wire because our running backs situation.
I did a waiver thing now. I don't really understand it all the way, but I picked up that Zach Moss guy. I put him on my waiver, and I'm going to get rid of Philip Lindsay.
There you go. See, that's how it works. You have to.
That's the right thing, right?
Yep. Oh, it's a great thing.
I don't feel like Philip Lindsay's producing. I don't think he's even gonna. But I think that Zach Moss guy, after watching what he did to us, that guy's gonna score points and do good.
He is. Yeah, and it's a good pickup. And that's usually how it works. That's how the waiver wire system is. You add a guy to waivers, and if your roster's full, they want you to have someone to kick off. Now, sometimes guys drop guys. Then you don't have to pick a guy to get off. You have an open spot. And some people will load up 2 or 3. Because it's a waiver system, and for us, if I'm looking at ours, Scrubber, you're 5th on the waiver wire, and I'm 7th. So you're gonna have 4 guys in front of you who could get Zach Moss. So
I see how that works. Okay, I got it now, and that's on the 29th. That's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow. So okay. Usually by midnight you can get it in. So you might want to go, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Look at another running back and go.
Okay.
So you pick up Joe Blow, and the same thing. You can still select Philip Lindsay to get rid of him. You know what I mean? If you want, unless you really need a couple running backs, you can pick someone else on your roster to drop. But sometimes I'll do that. I just know one guy that ain't working, and I need to get a running back, so I'll pick 2 guys, select Joe Blow to go, and then the next morning you see what happens, and it really works pretty good. It's just like the NFL teams that if you're, number 1 on the waiver wire and a guy's out there and the team picks him up, well, they go right back to the end. That's that it evens up that way. So that way it gives teams, an advantage. It's just as a system go in the same way in our in fantasy system. it's the same way. You'll probably, you and I, if we're like 2 or 3 people take advantage of the waiver wire, we'll be kicked back to 9 or 10 on waivers. So yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of fair, and it also makes
Yeah.
you have to be smart about you. You know, some guys are always picking guys up on waivers, but man, all of a sudden someone drops someone pretty good, and you think, oh, I'll get him. Well, you're 8th on the waiver wire, and you got a bunch of guys you didn't have to get. Now, you and I are not in that boat. You know, once again, I looked at both our rosters. We're strong all over.
I'm good.
But we don't have depth at running back. We just
Yeah.
need some better guys.
Yeah,
So.
I'd like to pick that guy up. That would be about
Yeah.
the only thing. Or if I need to, I do have J.D. McKissick. So
Yeah.
he'll score at least more points than Philip Lindsay.
Without a doubt.
And,
Yeah,
and he
because
has been every week. So Philip Lindsay's actually been the weak point in my on my team. So
yeah, Houston there, you know, I mean, it was bad enough already, and then their quarterback got hurt, and that always hurts you. You always see whenever the things get messed up at the quarterback position, all those wide receivers and running backs take a hit, at least for a little while.
yeah,
And
get rolling again.
Yeah, and Houston's a team in disarray except for your boy Brandon Cooks, who just scores 15 points a game no matter what. So props to him, man. I mean, he was always good. He just was always injured. But really, on a garbage football team with mediocre quarterback play, he's still getting 16 points. So that was a good draft pick for
DeAndre
you,
Hopkins seems like he's hurt because he didn't produce yesterday either. I could have traded him out with Claypool.
Yeah, but you know, it's one of those things. Go with your studs. Yeah,
and they said he was going to play. He plays hurt and all this, so I left him in there, but he didn't produce. So
it's really weird, and you'll see that happen a lot. Okay. And I've overreacted on injuries with guys. Oh, a guy's playing hurt. He's got a knee thing, and he's a star. I'll put him on the bench or bring the other guy up. And of course, the guy goes out and gets 18 points.
Yeah,
and it's a little way. So almost, I find I always err on the side of, even if I got a bad corner matchup, like, you know, this my guy's going up against a top cover corner. But if I got a top guy, if I got Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, I still play my guy. I don't get, you know, I'm going to drop him and have Sterling Shepard. I'm going to play him. It doesn't work. But put your top guys in, they'll get you something. But I like your JD, you know, McKissick will give you a floor because he'll always catch 5 or 6 passes. It just needs to get in the end zone. So
yeah,
good deal.
Yeah,
well,
lots of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
And of course, my boy, my kicker, Justin Tucker. I think he scored 18 points for me.
That's insane, dude.
Isn't that crazy? and that kick was incredible. So he deserves it. Dude, you've heard me say it before on this channel, folks, many, many times. He is the greatest kicker ever.
Yep. And we always talk about the importance of the kicking game. Such a big difference. And man, when that thing, I mean, it literally hit that crossbar and bounced over. That was so nuts. I know. Yeah.
Just like AI, the simulation, just making it just right for you. So it was good. Yeah, very exciting.
It was very cool. And he really did launch it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of special teams, we can kick off our game with that. Our special teams did great.
Yeah.
You know, that was probably the bright spot in that game against the Bills. Our special teams did really good. I mean, Tress Way did some good punting. Hopkins made all his extra points, and that kickoff into the wind was a smart play. He even recovered it.
I know. And he caught it in the air.
Yeah.
One of our guys kind of went up for, like, he had a shot at it and it bricked off his hands. And man, there was Hopkins. You know,
and he caught it like a star, dude. Fell to the ground, went into the fetal position with it. Man, he practically stuffed it up in him.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
But we really haven't had, I don't think, any issues with special teams at this point.
No, we've been doing good.
Yeah, I mean, so and really that's all you can. You know, you'd like to see your kicker, you know, boom a 66-yarder to win the game for you. But really, more than anything, you just don't want them to lose the game for you.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Good field position. Don't bobble the punt. You know, no shank punts. You know, stupid stuff like that. And so,
Tress Way did really good that way. He punted them all good.
Yeah, Tress Way has been just great, man. I mean, he's going to be putting himself into the Pro Bowl there if he just keeps it up, which would be nice for him. So, well, okay, so we found the one bright spot.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of things to talk about. I would just say, we can talk a lot about different position groups and different things that we saw, and I think we will.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say overall, what I'm seeing, and it's not different than any other team. There's a lot of teams in the same boat.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to be a meshing of the minds. Things just don't seem to be clicking.
Yes.
You can call it a disconnect. These are the things that we will never know as what's going on. It can be very minor. It can be adjustments. Hopefully it's not beneath, behind the scenes, things are really messed up. Most times they're not. It's just really, it's just a matter of adjustments. I know it gets boring listening to coach say that stuff, but quite frankly, teams a lot of times are that close to getting things to click. But I just really feel, I just don't, you watch Buffalo, I just saw a team that was of guys that were ready to, just play for each other, I wouldn't say die for each other, but man, they just seem to have that. There was a feeling. I'm not seeing discontent, but I'm not seeing that level. And I feel between what the coaches are trying to get across to the players, it just does seem that they're just not connecting. And so I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend to know that I know what that is, whether schemes need to be adjusted, they're really not working. Or is it the players still are not doing their jobs within the schemes? I mean, all those things are quite possible. But just to say, there is sort of something overhanging. There's not a cohesiveness. We're just not seeing it yet. And it's surprising from the defense. That's the thing that shocks me. The first 3 games of the season, opening drive by the other team, they went right down and scored a touchdown on us in all 3 of our games. And if someone had said that was going to happen before the season, we would have said, you're crazy. So anyway, I guess, that's the thing that shocks me is that the defense, and we're seeing it on both sides of the ball, a little bit of disconnect, but I'm just surprised that the D just isn't doing better.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I kind of see that same thing. Like, exactly like you said, I watched the Bills. I seen a team go out, get in their positions on the field, boom, set, ready to go. They look good. They just all knew what they were doing together. They were all gelling. But if you watched the Washington football team a couple times, even the defenses are looking back and the offense looked disheveled, like they're looking to the other guy to tell them what to do. And people seem antsy and jumpy. It shouldn't be like that. You should just be calm, going right up to your thing, your position, and being ready to go. So and I looked on the sideline to try and watch what was going on over there. I don't see a lot of action from coaches. I watch other teams and I see their coaches all over their players with their little computer things and stuff. And a couple times I've seen Heineke just sitting on the side there, just looking bummed, and I see the defensive guys just sitting there with no coaches on them. I see the plays being played, and I see coaches standing on the sideline, all of them, red shirts, with their hands like this, or their hands in their pocket, like they're just standing, like they got the best seat in the house, and they're just watching the game. Now, I'm not a professional or anything, but I would like to see, when I worked at a job, I had managers on me telling me what to do and directing me and talking, hey, you did this. Hey, let's do this more. You see, I use Patrick Mahomes when he's done even a great drives and stuff. He goes and sits back on the bench with the thing and says, these are the things either we did good or the things that we either did bad. That should be always going on. So I don't because know that much about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I really do. We'll have to watch this next game with Atlanta and kind of watch that sideline a little more, because really they should have that tablet out there, because even when you do good, because with a tablet, it's good to verify. You can see what you thought you saw.
Exactly.
And that's the thing.
Good and bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why did that work, or what happened there? And then you can see how they lined up, and then you can see what they did at the snap.
Yeah.
And I know what and defensively, we talked about, guys like looking around and stuff. And I know it seems like they're doing a lot of zone, but it seems like guys are kind of running a little free out there. Boy, you were talking about Cole Beasley. Just seems like every time they needed 3rd and 5, he just did a crossing route and was wide open.
Boom.
Because I mean, Fuller is getting a little torched there at the slot cover position. So he's going to have to tighten that up.
Yeah.
I watched I was kind of critical of the defensive coordinator for Dallas. Now he's the former Atlanta coach, and he played that's kind of his style. He does play a lot of zone. So I watched that game. And it can be done and it does work because that's kind of what he implements there. They played a lot of zone coverage, but they were really on top of it. You saw them just coming, spearing the ball. It's like they almost knew when the guy was entering the zone, when they were going to get him. A couple of times, Dallas Goedert broke free and was wide open in the zone. So they did find a way, to get him open and take advantage of it. But other than that, man, their receivers seemed like everywhere they went, someone was in that zone. They weren't getting fooled. Someone was always there. And another thing they did that we talked about, brought a lot of guys up to the line and then blitzed only from the right side, and only 5 guys. They only blitzed 1 guy. And the other 2 guys peeled off this way, and the other guy peeled out that way.
Yeah. Is that Dan Quinn?
I think it is.
Yeah, it's Dan Quinn.
They did a couple jailbreak blitzes, but mostly, like we talked about that, send everyone up there for the jailbreak and then do it every now and then. 3rd and 9, send everybody. What the hell?
Yeah. I saw that could have helped us a couple times.
Yes.
Because I looked at the thing and we had 2 tackles for loss. That's it, the whole team. No, 2, what do they call 2 PDs? What's that? Pressure defenses?
Passes defended.
Passes defended, only 2 of those. And only 2 tackles for loss. No.
Not good.
No, nothing else. And I'm sorry, but I didn't see a lot of blitzes going on. A little more in the second half, but I mean almost entirely that first half. I didn't hardly see anything. Cam Curl got in there a couple times, I think, and I just don't think they're utilizing that pressure. And when you see, to me, it looked like they could just send an extra guy in, because when you look at the secondary, if you got 4 guys rushing, that means you got 7 people outside of the box, and you see Cole Beasley run across the middle, and there's 5 red shirts right there, and him.
Yeah.
Couldn't you do 4 red shirts there and send 1 guy in? Do you see what I'm saying? Or something. I don't know. It seemed like our defensive front line was just struggling with them guys. They couldn't even get in there and do anything. So
yeah, and I think in theory that's what they want. They would love to have 4 guys do pressure. Well, everyone would want that, right? And they're really good, but it just doesn't seem to be working. And if you don't throw a couple jailbreak blitzes and really bring guys up to the line at times,
Sam and Mike.
Yeah, and the thing is then you have nothing to fake later. Like Dallas did it. They bring everyone up and then they drop out into a zone. They bring the guy up. Well, if you don't do it, the other team's not going to be afraid of it. You gotta, it's like throwing a bomb, like a long, deep pass doesn't always have to be a completion to push those safeties back, to scare them. You get your fastest guy, that puts a little bit of fear in their head, and they're not so ready to come up on the line. And so, you know what I mean? You kind of set teams up. That's why you do a sweep, maybe a jet sweep. You do it and your guy gets hit for a 1-yard loss. But that's why you throw those plays in. You put that in their head. You make them cover sideline to sideline and all the way to the back. And if you don't, they come in, and then you're dinking and dunking and you're hoping to make things work. And that just doesn't do it. So we'll see. I mean, we're not playing a great team in Atlanta, but no matter what, I don't care who we're playing. They got to get better. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. So let's watch out for that. Let's watch out for our coaches. Let's look and see if Heineke's getting the tablet and doing some studying. Let's watch for it.
If your theory or whatever you think is going on is at least somewhat close, you know what I mean? Maybe there's a personality problem going on somewhere, or also too, let me just say this, it might not, it's a combination of things always. And so there were some of them guys are out of position. That's not the coach's fault. The coach told them don't do that, you know what I mean? So these kids got to learn to be a little tighter in there. So there were some standouts on our defense. I think St. Just is really good. William Jackson did a good job. Cole Holcomb, he must have like 10 or 12 tackles.
Yeah.
10 of them by himself. So he's in on every play you're watching. But Cole gets a little worked when he's got to cover too.
Yeah.
So if he only just had to rush or be just plain linebacker and not cover linebacker, he's solid. But the way our defense is, you got to cover a little too. So, but there were bright spots in there. I thought
there were. I think a couple of things that hurt too was just like I said, look at sometimes in the zone, looking a little lost, leaving too many holes. We had 2 interceptions come off guys' hands. I forget the one. It was pretty tough, but the way I look at it, if you're a receiver or DB, I mean, if it hits your hands and you're not hanging upside down, just catch it. I mean, there's nothing worse in the world than a dropped interception, I swear, especially for a team like the Washington football team. We were struggling. I mean, you can imagine what a turnover would have meant for that team, and we dropped 2 of them.
Yep.
So those kind of things, you gotta. That's fundamental. We talk about fundamentals. If you can get the ball in your hand, it's nice to slap it away. But boy, if you have one land in both hands and it goes to the ground, that's an opportunity.
I saw that. I who was it? Kyle Fuller. He had it, a bump up on. He was like, and then that guy's knee came down and knocked it. But still, it hit his hand. If he, instead of just trying to catch it and get, I don't know. I'm not a pro, but right. So defense was a struggle there. Hard to watch.
Offense, I think it all centers around Heineke. I think he struggled a little bit, which is kind of to be expected. It's only I mean, I wouldn't say it's the second start. He had started last year a little bit, but and we knew that was a tough defense. And it kind of showed. He didn't quite have the zip on the ball. I think that wasn't a physical thing. I think it was mental. I just don't think he had the confidence. He just seemed a little bit rattled. So hopefully going up against Atlanta, for 2 reasons. Atlanta is not a tour de force on defense. They're known to give up passes, but not just that, but just to see him settle down a little bit more and kind of throw like he did in the first game. And get back and just make his throw. So we got to see some improvement from him because he had a kind of a shaky game.
Yeah, he did. It's his situational awareness is a part of the problem too, in my opinion. He just, he threw that pass when he was over the line. He's just not knowing where he was. I seen another thing where he started to run, and he had a blocker out in front of him, number 79. And 79 was going to block the dude. Heineke could have went around the other way, but Heineke ran towards the sideline. And the defender just went around just went sideways with them, And you could see the blocker, I think it was number 79, going like, what are you doing? I had your block for you. What I'm saying? So there's some disconnect going on there. Situational awareness, I think is what they call it, as being knowing what you're, at all times. I'm sorry, you're a pro player, and it's the pressure in that place must be intense. Plus what you put on yourself. You can see Heineke beats himself up all the time. And you're not going to fucking move forward when you're doing that to yourself. You got to learn how to shake that off and get going, because I know I'm like that.
You do. Like you really do. As a quarterback, you throw an interception, just go back and grab the tablet and look at what happened. Turn it into a technical thing and see what happened. See what you did wrong. And it's hard. It's hard to have situational awareness, which, believe me, it's important. You have to have it, and it only comes by reps and learning. So you can think within that tornado of plays. You can still think. I think for Heineke, it's a little tough. He's still, things are probably moving pretty quick for him. And I'm not saying he's freaking out, but there's a lot of pressure on him. He did have some drop passes. Boy, there was a nice crossing route by Dyami Brown. I thought he was going to take 20 yards, and it just bricked right off his hands. That's a rookie thing, but at the same time, that's like, that kills you. Your hope, especially when you're getting whooped, and they were getting their asses kicked. It's just a dropped interception, a drop pass. Like, oh man, that would have been so nice.
Cam Sims dropped one.
Yep.
So at a crucial point, kind of. It's always crucial, but
we saw. We did see. We saw a great play from Antonio Gibson, the screen, and he ran. we've talked about this. I have a bit of a problem with how they're using them. I will defer to the coaches. They know more than me. They know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to pretend like I really know, except to say that I mean, at Memphis, Antonio Gibson, man, that guy caught way more passes than he ran the ball. And that was sort of, they have that run and shoot kind of offense. That's kind of how it is. I think it has a lot to do with why he didn't play on a lot of passing downs, because he didn't have any kind of practice in picking up blitzers or rushers. Right. And because of COVID, there was no time to train him. And I think that's a big reason why J.D. McKissic was in there a lot, because he's a third down back, but he has the NFL experience. And I think, but I just do feel like that guy's so dynamic. And if you look at his Memphis stuff, he ran routes. He wasn't just getting bubble screens or slipping out into the flat to catch a little ball and run. I mean, he was out there. He did some from the slot. He did some out and ups for bombs and caught them. I mean, just like this, boom. And tracking the ball over your shoulder, that's a receiver thing. You don't see running backs do that. And and I think he had that 4.39 40.
Wow.
At the combine at 221 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just wish, man. I mean, I don't want him to go into the run and shoot, man. But this guy is some kind of dynamic, man. And they always tell you, get your best guys the ball.
Yeah.
Get him out there. If that guy can catch and run, then throw it to him.
Yeah.
You don't run it. So I would really hope that they saw that and said, that's the guy that you drafted. That play was, I mean, and you saw his vision going down. That wasn't easy, but did you see his vision going down that line, running down? Everything opened up to him. He knew what he was coming. Because another thing is, he ran kicks. He did the same thing when he returned kicks at Memphis. You could just see he had a vision going down. Of he could just sort of see everything, and so that's a great talent. So anyway, that was great to see that run. That was super exciting. Let's just hope that they really start to utilize this guy. And guess what? Take tons of pressure off of Taylor Heineke, man.
Yeah.
Make those linebackers, the blitzing. You ain't blitzing and running in all the time when you got Gibson out running routes, crossovers, boom. I mean, all of a sudden, man, that makes the defense think really differently. So anyway, I was happy to see that.
A blocker. I don't see why they need to start incorporating Jarrett Patterson maybe a little more.
Yeah, why not?
Run him a little bit so he looks like a run threat too, but not just the guy you brought in to block. Of course, you have to do that. You can't just bring him every time and he's going to block every time. So then they know what's going on. But, I think the first play of the game that we had, they had J.D. McKissic in the backfield. So I was wondering about that kind of stuff too. Don't you start your game with your main guy? Let's establish up front what you're going to do and work it from there. But I just thought that was weird as well. But I didn't think Antonio, how many touches did he get? Like 12 or 13 or something?
Yeah. We talked about it. Was my big thing going into the game. Let's run Antonio Gibson. Let's get in there. But, once again, you fall behind. There goes the plan. You got to start throwing. So, let's just hope they really start to utilize him and get him in there and make him the focus of the game and not Taylor Heineke.
There you go. Take it off of Taylor Heineke. The NFL really pushes this quarterback as the only thing on a team, and that just puts too much pressure on him. Take that off of him. It's a team effort.
Yeah, so it really is.
Yeah.
So got a lot to improve on. We saw some good things, but they really got to get better. And let's just hope we can see some of that team chemistry and stuff come together.
They did.
So there's two things we talked about at special teams. We talked about, penalties as being fundamentals. Fundamentally, if you're getting a lot of penalties, you're just burying yourself and you can't win. The stats just prove it out. And another thing we talked about, and thinking about it now on how we did, I don't think we did very well. I said one of the other fundamentals we have to look at. We always talk about no turnovers. But what we talked about as a fundamental is creating turnovers. Did we create any turnovers? Fumbles? No. Interceptions? Did we have a sack?
No sacks.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, so the thing that we wanted, the thing we said this is crucial is fundamentally you have to make the other team pay. You got to get fumbles, interceptions, sacks, and they did zippity doo all day.
Yeah.
That's
really
brutal.
Weird. So
you can't do that. You can't have no sacks, no interceptions, no fumble recoveries, no block, no nothing. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't. I mean, who does that and wins? I don't know. Maybe there's a couple of anomalies out there where a team did it, but I guarantee you, if someone is zeros across the board at that,
Yeah.
they had to lose.
Yeah, and we did because it was all zeros. Like I said, we only had the 2 tackles for loss. That's it.
Whoop-de-doo.
That's
One
nothing.
tackle, one tackle for loss per half.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. And they weren't for much. I remember one was like a 2 and one was like maybe a -1. So it wasn't even like an 11-yard loss or something like that.
5 or 6 yards. That's nice.
That's not enough. So
no.
Yeah. So that's a lot of the offense there.
Yep.
We covered the defense.
Yeah.
Special teams.
Did good.
I kind of touched on coaches a little bit. I even coach. I watched some of that Ron thing. He was talking. I'll go back again and we put it in the coach's corner probably. But he was saying something about coaching needs to get in there. I didn't see it all the way. I'll look at it again. So.
Oh, good. Let's hope he does, because that's kind of what we're bitching about here. So maybe coach. Yeah, it's good, man. People got to grow. People got to step back. We do on this channel.
We do.
We look at ourselves, our ideas, the way we do things. If we come back and go, yeah, we're not doing that anymore, or we could do this better. You know, even we were.
A lot.
Well, we're always looking at each other to see, hey, what can we do?
That's right.
Hey,
Don't, like
no
even
problem.
me. If any of you saw that last live stream I tried to do, it was just brutal on me. And my situational awareness was terrible. My execution was terrible. I didn't prep for it good enough. I was tired. I wasn't taking care of myself, you know, because I do a lot of hiking and all these kinds of things. And so I'd come back from the day before, like hiking all day, and I just wasn't prepared. And so, you know, me and BH talked about it. I think I came back out and apologized to everybody, but we're going to refocus.
Yeah.
We're going to do it again. I'm coming back next week. We are going to do that again. And we're just going to, the way I planned it before was just going to follow it on the little graphic that the NFL will put out, and we'll just follow it on that. And you guys can watch that however you want, but I'm just going to put it out as they give it out and then just call that, and we'll have fun doing that.
Sure.
I like that way. I think I grew there a little bit. I like my color commentary. I'll make some more notes of people who to thank and do all these things, and that show will get better. And so that will be more fun. So.
Good. Yeah. And so, you know, to your point is that, you know, we're hoping, and hopefully it comes out in Coach's Corner, is that they're looking at themselves, you know, what can I do better?
Yeah.
You know,
even Coach Ron, he even said, you know, that flag early in the thing, he said that was on me.
Yeah.
He said that was just a bad call on my part. He said from where he was standing, it looked good because I think it was right on that side. But I think it was a Logan Thomas first down or something. And they didn't get it, and he threw the red flag to look at it. And then, I think they punted anyways or something. So I was like, horrible. So
it is. So
that quarterback sneak, whoever called that, they wouldn't let Taylor Heineke call that, would they? That comes in from the sideline, right?
That was a Scott Turner special.
Ridiculous, dude.
That was ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I hate to sit and just question guys left and right. You know, why'd you call that sweep? Why'd you call this? No, but I'm telling you, that's one. There are times when, you know, I mean, and they were so deep in their area, and, you know, they just had, I'll bet you when Heineke was in the huddle and called whatever it is, bop, 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 bop on 3. Those linemen were going, oh shit, we're gonna, you know, I mean,
they came out of the huddle and went up to the thing. When you watched the Bills line up against that, you were like, they're gonna stop it.
It didn't look good. Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams, they go up there and they're boom, and they're like, yeah, and we're gonna get a yard. And guess what? They do. They just move those guys back, and our guys are capable. But it goes to what we were saying at the beginning. There's just a little bit of, there's not enough esprit de corps. There's that little bit that's missing, where you're going to go in there and you're going to chew on someone to get a half a yard. You're going to fight, and they just seemed a little passive as they went up there, and it wasn't even close, dude. They just flat blew it up. Oh yeah. So anyway, but
that's where we need our boy Jarrett Patterson.
Yeah,
he'll get that 1 yard.
Yeah, he doesn't care if he gets a concussion.
Yeah,
go in there head first, man. Hell yeah. Because I'm 22.
He's a
I got plenty of
star.
years to
Can't
go.
wait to see that guy blow up. So
I
yeah, so
know.
all of those things, they point to a bunch of it's the death by 1,000 cuts.
It's what it is.
You know,
And that's why,
if it was just one thing, it'd be easy to fix, or two things, it'd be easy to fix. You could look at those two things, but it's drop passes, it's quarterback situational awareness, it's not getting the turnovers on the defensive side, it's not getting, it's a million things.
Yep.
How do you, what does that speak to is my question.
Yeah. Well, I think some of it is, it can even feel to the players.
Yes.
As bad as it does to us. But if you stand back, you realize it's all these little tiny things, but it feels very oppressive. It feels like things aren't going good. It doesn't feel there. But the thing is, that turns around very quickly if you apply, if your fundamentals get better here and there. If the coaches come in with a scheme that's a little more to the player's talent level. And then once things go right, it's like life. Once you feel a little bit positive about this thing, everything else in your life that you thought was a pain in the ass, like, I can deal with that now, because you're starting to get some confidence, starting to build. So that's the thing is, like you said, there's so many little things that if they start to make some improvements, start to get a little bit of confidence in a few different areas, I think it'll domino effect. Because like you said, and this is a good roster. These are good football players. And I know there's some young ones that are learning, but the young ones are good. Sam Cosme's a good football player, man. Benjamin St. Juste is a good football player. Hell yeah, these are, and all across the board, we don't have a garbage defensive line. We don't have a makeshift offensive line. We've got good players. So, and I guess that's the thing that even makes it more frustrating. So I will say this, it's hard to pinpoint, but once they can start ticking the boxes and get some things going, it will really steamroll from there.
Well, as we looked at that game too, I like that building good history. Now, what happened in that game too, good things happen, but they're not good history building things. Let me explain. Like the Antonio Gibson touchdown. That's great. He got a 73-yard rip. Okay, but you didn't formulate a drive down the field and do the thing. You blasted that one and you got it. Semi-lucky, you know what I'm saying? But it's not something you built upon. It was just one play that got you there. And then that kickoff, into the wind and that lucky recovery, that's not sustainable kind of history building. Those are just things kind of semi out of the blue. Now you should feel good about them. And they could have propelled them, but they're just not a solid, fundamental, look, we grew here. Look, we marched downfield and scored this touchdown. Oh, and on the next set of downs, we stopped them and they had the 3 and out. That's a different kind of history building than, oh, we got this long touchdown. Oh, we got this lucky kick into the wind. Those aren't quite the same thing, in my opinion. You have to have solid development in these areas and not just these luck things going on. So,
it's an excellent point. Like you said, the 73-yarder was great, but instead of 13 touches, I would have liked to see Antonio Gibson have gotten 23 touches and be hammered and get his touchdown for a 4-yard run. Then the 73-yard spike play, because like you said, that's a learning building experience. We dominated them. Our offensive line got to eat those guys and push back, and the offensive linemen love that. You got to feed your offensive linemen. You got to let them. They're beasts, and they love it when you say, "Hey, we're going to really run the ball this half," and they just get to beat guys and beat guys and beat guys, and they grow with it. We don't do that. We do this, we do a few passes, we do this over here, we do this over here, and then we get a 73-yard play. But to your point, did we really develop anything? Did we really have something sustainable to work on? Not really, because
Okay. Well, hopefully, with that can turn around kind of with the Falcons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you can, with a maybe, I don't want to say a lesser team, every team in the NFL is elite, that, Matty Ice and them are going to do everything in their power to shut us down. Yeah. So, but what we need to do with these guys is maybe capitalize on some of these points. And maybe, like you said too, as bummed as we are as fans, those guys played in the game and they got to go watch film with coach. And they're lucky I'm not their freaking coach.
No doubt.
Coach room, their heads would be bitten right off. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing here? And it's okay in my opinion, it's okay to yell at the guys like that. What the F are you doing there? You don't want to degrade them and beat them down into the ground, but they still have to hear that. You know what I mean? You can't be gloves on and oh, can you do that a little better next time? No, hey, what the hell are you doing? You're a grown man.
Yep.
You know, get out there and do that. And this is how you back down. I know you can do that. You know, as a coach, I'd be saying, it's in you to do it. I know you have it in you. We're trying to pull it out of you, but you need to work with us and you need to make that happen as well. You have it in you. I used to say that when I was a boss all the time. Look, even though you don't think you can do it, I think you can do it. You see, and I will develop you so that you can do that. And that's what I think the coaches can do in this upcoming game against the Falcons. Show them they can do that.
Yeah, and good point. Like you said, we feel horrible. I mean, you go out on the internet, everyone's set their hair on fire. The Washington football fans are like, God, they're losing their minds. Yeah, because they got to go. You know,
I'm still good with it. 17 games.
Yep, and those guys got to go home. You talk about feeling bad. They got to go home to their girlfriends, their friends, their families, and you know they're supportive. But they got to go in there and say, hey, you know, we sucked. We got our asses kicked, boy. Nothing worse feeling than that, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So let's talk about those Falcons. To your point, there's a little, their defense. It's not the Buffalo Bills defense. Now, any team can play great on any Sunday. But this should be a chance for us the team to really implement their systems and run what the coaches are saying. This is a team that they can beat. This is not a super dynamic team on either side of the ball. If they really do their film study, you know what I mean, and run things the way they're supposed to, and do their assignments, and the scheme will be set. The coaches have seen the film, they've seen the Falcons, they know what they do, and get the scheme set in their brain. I mean, it's not just to get a win, but it's a great way to play so much fundamentally better. Get out there and just do your assignment and try not to do things over.
Assignment.
God. Yeah. So and so the Falcons, they've got they still rely on the passing game.
Yep.
Quite a bit. The new coach they got is quite a guy. The guy, he was from Tennessee. Pretty good offensive coordinator. They put him up to coach now. He's pretty darn good. He really promotes the run. He's a big guy with coming to the run. Now, they don't quite have the running backs that you would need. I was really surprised when they only kept Mike Davis and really didn't, look for running back, but maybe they saw other areas in the draft and in free agency that they had to take care of first.
Davis is pretty solid.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So, they do a lot of play action. They got a great tight end. He's a rookie, but he's pretty darn good and dynamic in Kyle Pitts. Calvin Ridley's a really good receiver.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there's what's his name? I think Russell Gage. There's not a whole lot. So once again, going a little backwards with Buffalo, they did a pretty good job on Buffalo's star receiver. I mean, they kept I forget his name. They kept him, sort of bottled up, but everyone else kind of burned up.
Yeah.
But once again, you can't let Calvin Ridley run wild. He's a really good receiver. He's very good, actually. And defensively, they did a pretty good job last week, but only against the Giants.
Yeah.
So I think that's a team. Maybe we can go back to what I was saying this time. Maybe we can really establish the run and really push them. Bring Jared Patterson in when Gibson gets a little winded. Let Jared go in.
Hopefully Gibson gets winded. That means they'll be using him.
Yeah, run them up the middle a couple times and keep bashing those guys and do more ball control and get, don't fall behind. So you have to pass. And, and that will really set a base for Heineke then to have confidence and to be able to throw, not to have to be the guy to bring us back from a 20-point deficit. That's not fair to him.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the things that the Washington football team needs to do that I saw last week and the week before is our third down on both sides of the ball. So we're letting the other team have 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. and we're looking at 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9 when we have the ball. And it's got to be the other way around. Our defense should be making them have 3rd and 9, and our offense should have 3rd and 1. And so that's a big one to work on. And that speaks to you saying, give Antonio Gibson the ball a couple times. If he picks up 4 and 4 on 2 runs, now you got a 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or if he gets a 6-yard run on the first down, take your little pass, try and do something with it. And then, then you got 3rd and 4 or something like that. Well, run it again.
Yeah.
And keep working it like that. But it's some 3rd downs I think were killing us too. I didn't look at the stat, but I think it's bad.
Yeah, it hasn't been good. I'm going back to the Charger game. I think they converted 10 3rd downs and we converted 3.
Yeah.
So it's an issue. It has to be taken care of. I'd like to see since they are going to like to pass, and we do very well against the run, and they don't have dynamic runners. I think it's going to be another game where they're going to have to pass. Maybe this is a game where Jack Del Rio lets these guys loose. Says, let's try some multiple blitzes.
That's what I say.
Yeah, I say let's and Matty Ice isn't who he used to be, but the guy can chuck the rock, man.
He can
get it out there. He likes to throw. I mean, that's what he likes to do, and that's how they're going to go and beat us. This isn't Derrick Henry and the Titans going to try and run on us. They're going to want to throw, and so maybe we do the same philosophy, and the DBs really get it and run a really effective zone scheme, much like I saw Dallas do last night. It's very impressive.
It was
a really good zone scheme, and we're always there when the other guy was there. They just, and so maybe it works. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. I mean, it's not implicitly wrong with having a zone scheme, but if it's not being executed, man, try something else. So let's see what they do. But they're going to pass. So that's going to be a good practice for our defense because Atlanta is going to throw the ball.
I want to see pressure on him. I don't care where it comes from. Something.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun game.
I think so. It'll be at Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you're gonna do the show. So everyone should be ready to turn in on that. It's gonna be another 1:00 game, right?
Yes. Yes. Yep. 1:00 Eastern.
Yep. Very good.
So,
very good.
Yeah, I'll be calling it. I'll be more prepared this time, folks. Please come on in. I'm going to call it. It's going to be much better. I had a misunderstanding about everything before, so these next ones are going to be great.
We can about it. And we can jump into the chat.
Yeah,
and
we'll have BH on before, and we won't show NFL stuff while we're doing it, so we don't get shut down.
Yeah, boy,
cool. So I'd like to have you there at the beginning, dude, if you can. I know BH is going some paradise somewhere. Get out of town. So
gonna go to a little vacation. Yeah, let me see. I think I should be able to bust in there and do that because it will be. That's the beauty of when I was a kid growing up on the East Coast, football started at 1:00. I remember Monday Night Football would start, so I could only watch an hour. And Dad say, "Hey, school tomorrow, son. Got to go to bed." When we got to the West Coast, the game started at 10 in the morning. Yeah. I barely had the Captain Crunch off my chin, baby. And I was in front of the TV. It was awesome. Yeah. And then, hey, guess what? Monday Night Football started at, like 5, 6 o'clock. 9 o'clock, game was over.
Yeah.
Went to bed. West Coast. That's a great way to watch
Coast
football.
You get the 10 o'clock and then the 1:00 and then you get that late game. Yeah, it was nice.
Much nice. It's so much better. So I'll be out on the West Coast, and I will. I will have a chance. I'll have the iPad and stuff out there. My brand new one.
I'll be there before the game, and we'll talk about it.
Right, and then after that, we will. I think we'll probably air our next show maybe Thursday.
Yeah, maybe. That's fine.
Yeah,
folks, we're kind of combining the things. Before we were doing like a recap show and then a prediction show, but we're just going to combine them together. It just makes sense. You'll see our shows come out in the middle of the week. Yeah, so we'll just recap, and we're gonna do a prediction here in a minute. So,
oh boy, that reminds me, we do have to talk about our predictions from last week. How did we do? Let's see. I think I kind of said it was going to be tough, and they would get a non-win, and unfortunately, I was right.
No, it was a
Not
good
happy
call,
about
dude.
that.
You have to look at the facts objectively, dude. I don't mind that. I'm the fanboy here. I'm always going to pick the Washington football team. So I have a lot of respect for the way you called that. It was right.
Yeah. Yeah, more respect for the way I called it than AI did. I know. He's just he's killing us, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it was going to be a close game, but I thought they could pull out the win. And after seeing this game, they do need to mature a little bit more. So it's a tough one. But
it is.
So
I didn't expect them to get railroaded.
I didn't either.
I didn't see that. And I was really, I guess I was disappointed because they did get it to when the game looked like it was already 21-0. It was like bye-bye. And then they got a couple breaks and they did good. So it was 21-14. I thought, hey, a new beginning. It was 21-14. And guess what? They looked like the same damn team. It was the same offense. It was just, like nothing changed. It's like you said earlier, we got a couple spike plays that really played into us and helped us, but really across the board, nothing. There was really no change. So I was disappointed that they, couldn't put up a little bit more of a fight. So let's see. I guess we got to get our prediction in.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I'm going to go ahead and go. Here we go. I think it's going to be a win.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to say win every time. I'm not going to lie to you folks. I want it to be a win. I want the boys to do good, and I think they deserve it. So and winning, and if they look good, and that will be the confidence booster that they're going to need because their schedule coming up after the Falcons is brutal. Because they were the number one team in the NFC East. And so your schedule for the next year means you play all the top people and you're in your conference and in the other conference. Or I think we got the Chiefs coming up. We got the Packers coming up. Ouch. So they're going to need this
coming up. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm in for a win. I think they're going to win. Really, I think if incrementally, if the coaches do look at this defense and tighten up some of these zone problems, and combine it with maybe some more blitzing and some pressure. If Heineke can kind of settle down a bit and stop the drops, see all these, like you talk about, all those little things, I don't see any problem beating Atlanta. I really don't. I could see 24-17.
Very nice.
I think they can pull that off 24-17. So, all right, there's 2 wins.
Howie?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. All right, you maniacs. All right, stand back, fellas. And I got lots of room here so I can.
All right, I'm ready. Okay.
Make the call.
Heads, Washington football team. Tails, Falcons.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
AI is rooting for the Falcons. It's tails.
Golly. Hey, look on the other side of there. Is there a head on that? Is there heads? Tails on both sides. Oh, Jesus. All right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think AI is going to lose this one.
I hope so. What are we in this? I know my pickings should be exactly what our win-loss record is. So I should be 1-2 so far.
Yeah, I think I am 2-1 because I went against it with the last game. I did pick Buffalo to win. I even said way in the summer during the pre-season that I thought this would be a tough win for them.
We did. When we did the schedule show, you said it was going to be one of
so all right. But forget about the past.
Yeah.
Let's look to the future. Yeah. Let's hope this team grows and gets better and really shows us some fundamental improvements.
Yeah. And we're going to put the fun in fundamental. We're not the mental part, the fun part in fundamental.
We'll leave the mental part out. All right, man. Hey, good show, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
To it. And I'll give you a buzz on Sunday.
Yeah, sounds good. Get to me a little early and and we'll get you in there and we'll talk about all this. And thank you so much, BH, man. I feel a lot better after doing this show. I feel reinvigorated for my own self to do better and push my own self. I can't ask them guys to do better and push themselves if we're not doing it ourselves, trying to make this show better, trying to get our stuff correct, trying to execute the way we should be. And we will all grow together. And, it's awesome.
It is. We'll get some wins.
Yeah,
all right, brother. Good show, man.
Take care.